Hi, I'm Matt Winters. Welcome to Valley Escape. Today we're doing a handoff on the 2021 Winnebago Solis 59BX. Now let's start on the outside. We'll walk around, check out the systems, then we'll go on the inside and see how everything works. Starting with the entrance, there is something to point out here with the keys. There are two lock buttons and unlock buttons. One controls the front two doors. This locks all doors. And then this does specifically the side door and the rear door. So if I want to unlock, I would just press that, or vice versa if I want to lock those doors. Here you have access to your fridge, which is really nice, accessible from the outside or the inside. You also have your battery switch. If you notice that the lights aren't coming on for some reason, you just toggle that to on, and then everything should work. You also have an outside light, which is located just over the passenger seat, and then the hall light for inside the coach. Down near the floor, there is a connection for an outdoor sprayer. Now, the sprayer is essentially just a hose bib. Connects on this side, you have hot and cold water, and you can use it to spray off your feet or even take an outdoor shower. Very nice to have that feature. Okay, let's walk around to the rear of the coach, where we can see that both doors do swing open for your cargo area. They rotate all the way around to 180 degrees, and you have some cool stuff going on here. The first is that you have a cargo area located here to keep stuff, even if your bed is down in this position. The bed will also go up. We'll show that on the inside. Next, you have your water center. Now, your water center is where you can either connect to a hose if you're at a campsite or fill up your tank if you're running off the tank. We typically run off the tank. We don't usually have a hose connected, even at a campsite, because it's so easy to run off of the tank with a pump. Essentially, to refill the tank, if you ever get empty, and this is your fresh water, you would connect a hose here. We do have a hose located in the coach that you can connect to a hose bib at a campsite. You need to make sure that you're following this diagram. Power fill tank is what you use as the setting when you have a hose connected. So it's down, green is over to the side, red is up, and blue is down, as you can see in the diagram. Once the tank is full, you'll see water running out underneath the coach in this location here, and you'll know the tank is full. When the water starts to run, you just turn off the hose bib, and then you come back and set this to dry camping, which allows you to run off the tanks. Dry camping is white down, both of your green and red up, and blue horizontal. You have one more connection here where you can hook up your sprayer. That is this device here, very standard hose bib, and that's your quick disconnect, which connects right here. Let's walk around to the side and show where the connections are. Here we have our power. And this is only necessary if you're actually at a campsite. It's never really necessary, but if you want to plug in to recharge your batteries, you can. And this is a 30 amp outlet. There's a 30 amp cord in the coach, in the overhead compartment. And you plug in this side, plug in the other side of the 30 amps at the RV park. Make sure your breaker is turned on at the RV park setting. Or you can use an adapter to plug into a standard 120 volt outlet that's also located inside the coach. Not necessary to plug in because you do have a generator, and the generator can run everything in the RV, and a lot of your systems run directly off of the batteries, which charge while you drive, or from the solar on the roof. This is your black tank or your cassette. The terms are used interchangeably. The cassette toilet has two buttons which you press. This one has a lock, which you can unlock using this key if it's locked, and then you can lock it again if you want to for security. And when you open this, the cassette can be removed. There's a small clip down here. You pull this out, and this is where your waste from your toilet goes, and only your toilet. The rest of your water from your sink and your shower go to your gray tank. To empty this, you would just flip this up, take off the cap, and pour it into a clean out at a RV park. We have a detailed video on how to empty these separately on the site. For your gray water, there's a cap here, which you untwist. Next, I'm going to grab the hose. The hose is located near the entrance door on the side of the vehicle. There's a small lever, which I need to flip up, and then I can remove the hose. Now you take this end of the hose and connect it, just like this, give it a twist to lock it on. This side goes in the clean out at the campground, which is typically a cap in the ground with a hole. You put this in the hole, pull this lever out, release the fluid. When the fluid stops flowing, push this back in, replace your cap, and return the hose. One thing to pay attention to is that this latch is actually latched so that the door doesn't come open. We've had cases where this was left open and the hose was lost during the trip, so just a good idea to make sure it's latched. While we're here, notice that this is the location where if you need to refill the propane, where you would do that, you take it to a place that does propane refills. Typically, any big RV areas are going to have facilities that you can Google, and they'll take care of refilling it here. In order to use the propane, you always need to make sure this switch is turned on. There's also a switch on the inside, but this one needs to be on as well. So that's it for the outside. Let's go inside and take a look at some of the systems. From this vantage point, I always like to show how the seat turns around. Now, you'll notice that the controls are kind of hidden on the Ram, and they are the front two corners of the seat. So if we notice that this one actually pulls out, that controls the back of the seat. Goes up and down. This bar allows the seat to slide forward. So as you're rotating, it's a good idea to slide this one forward. The other corner allows the seat to rotate. And it's really awesome that you can rotate both seats around. Driver's seat works the same way. For the dinette, the table is located behind the two seats. Here, there's a pedestal which also clips in, and you can then put your dinette in this location. Now, when you spin around this driver's seat, you have the passenger seat, which can turn towards the table, and then you have these two seats. It's a nice place to sit. Both of these captain's chairs have 3-point seatbelts, so they can be used with child seats. Next, you have a fridge with a freezer. We recommend keeping the settings on somewhere around half. If you put it on all the way cold, it will tend to freeze your items. Okay, let's take a look at the control panel, which is located here. For controls, the first one to pay attention to here is your LP. This is your liquid propane. We need to make sure that's on, along with the one that we showed on the outside, in order to use your cooktop or your heat and hot water. Now, your heat and hot water are controlled here on your Truma system. You just would essentially toggle this one to on, and that controls the air heat. I twist it once, and you can toggle this one to on, and that controls your water heat. And finally, the fan setting is located here, which you can turn on either vent or off. Next, we have a button here which controls your holding tank heater. Now, this is if you're camping someplace where it gets colder than freezing overnight. Good idea to have this on and make sure that your tanks don't freeze. Solar system, nothing really to pay attention to here. You can just monitor the batteries. And finally, you have a couple of controls on this one. First is your water. That turns on your pump. Pump needs to be on in order to use the shower or the sink or the toilet. For the generator, you can hold the start button, and this will fire up the generator. Now, the generator is running from the gasoline tank, so just make sure that you've got plenty of gas if you're going to run it for an extended period of time. And you can monitor the hours here. We provide 4 hours per day of use, and additional hours are $4 an hour. You can monitor your LP level here. It says full. Your battery level, which is nice to have, not necessary to monitor. And finally, your gray water, which for this tank, E or 1/3 are both empty. And when it gets to full, you'll know that you need to empty the tank. Let's go over the use of the kitchen. First is your 2-burner propane stove. Again, propane needs to be on. If the propane's on, then you just hold down. You have to hold down, which means push in the knob while you fire it up. And you have to hold it for a second or two so that the thermocouple heats up, and then the gas will stay on and it will continue to burn. Okay? If you've been doing quite a bit of cooking, it's a good idea to leave the glass top up, because if you put it down too soon, it can sometimes crack due to the excessive heat. Sink, you've got a hot and cold setting, and again, your water pump needs to be on for this to work. Some good storage overhead, and then plenty of storage down below for your trash and also all of your pots and pans. Cutting board which slides out. Please not cut on this. Just we provide a separate cutting board, and if you're going to cut, just use that so we don't scratch up the surfaces. Next, let's go over the operation of the bathroom. There's a twist knob here which you twist to open, and inside you'll see the Thetford cassette toilet, which can be rotated out, or you can keep it on the in position depending on how you're using it. Very easy to use. This button circulates water. This button opens to remove the waste, and this is a place where you can store extra toilet paper. Now, with cassette toilets, you can only use RV toilet paper, which is a compostable type paper. We provide 2 rolls in the van. You can pick up extras at Walmart. Do not use any other kind of regular toilet paper or put any kind of products, feminine products, anything in the toilet, please. For the shower, very kind of standard operations there. You just got a hot and cold setting. Water pump needs to be on to use it, and your toilet can spin out of the way to give yourself a little bit more space. The rear bed in its down position can also pivot up to its up position and latched in place. There's a table that folds down here. Good idea to get the legs started, but not extend it all the way until you get down to the bottom, and then you can extend it out, and just gives you some additional counter space during the day. There's additional storage underneath the bed here, where's the hose, the power cord, some blocks for leveling. Some storage on this side, and also some storage in the floor, which is a nice amount of space. To operate the pop top, there are 2 levers. We first unsnap the safeties. We flip down the key, we twist it, and remove this side. Exact same thing on the other side. When both sides are unclipped, I pull the clips out of the way and just give a light push. So I've removed the clips, gave a light push, and the top is now in the up position. I'll give you a quick view here of the top. It's a very large queen size bed. There are windows on both sides which can be unzipped, and you actually get a really nice view up here and nice breeze. There's a small vent in the ceiling which is located there, and you can see those 2 handles are what you use to pull down the top when you want to put it away. So now I'm going to show you where the ladder is located. It's just in the overhead compartment. 2 pieces. One has hooks, which hook on this side, and the other is a telescoping slot, which hooks on this side. You just line up these 2 clips that way. They telescope together. And finally, both sides lock in place. And that's it. You can use the ladder to go up and down. Well, thank you for watching the Solus 59PX handoff video. We hope you have a fantastic trip in the great outdoors. And thank you for running with Valley Escape. We look forward to seeing you again.